As an accountant, Cindy Turner is a stickler for accuracy. Details, deadlines, and numbers, they matter. There's no room for error, which helps explain why the Tigard woman was so upset after receiving a stern-sounding letter from the city of Portland claiming she'd failed to pay some taxes.
Demand of personal income tax owed. Immediate action required. Failure to respond will result in presumptive taxes and civil penalties being assessed.
Turns out the city of Portland was collecting on behalf of Metro. High-income households in Washington, Multnomah, and Clackamas counties were expected to pay a new tax to fund homeless services. Cindy recalled, she'd supported the tax, but had no idea the bill was overdue. Nobody told her when or how to pay.
I do my taxes on TurboTax, and TurboTax didn't mention anything about a local tax for this.
And to make matters worse, the city of Portland threatened to tack on penalties and interest for a tax that, again, Cindy didn't know was due last April.
It's just frustrating because I feel like there should have been a little bit more communication and a little bit more understanding the first time out that really taxpayers had no idea that this was happening.
Nearly 20,000 high-income households have already received or will be getting one of these letters warning they didn't pay Metro's newly created homeless services tax, or Multnomah County's preschool for all tax, which voters overwhelmingly approved in 2020. Both taxes target individuals who made more than $125,000 annually or couples who brought in more than $200,000 combined. Both Metro and Multnomah County said they tried to alert taxpayers by reaching out to employers, accountants, and tax preparation firms. But clearly, not everybody got the message. Even the popular tax preparation software TurboTax didn't warn taxpayers who were likely to owe.
I think there's always an element that you hope you could do more.
Eric Ariano is Multnomah County's chief financial officer.
We contemplated sending out communications to all residents of Multnomah County, but didn't want to create confusion for those that did not owe the tax.
So far, Metro has collected $202 million in taxes. Multnomah County has raked in $241 million. Both say it's too early to accurately calculate a compliance rate, but early data suggest roughly 33% of those eligible have yet to pay Metro's homeless tax. For the roughly 20,000 people who might owe and got letters, they'll be charged penalties and interest. Could you show greater leniency to these people?
It's important to remember here that the median interest charge for folks whose taxes were due in April 2022 and have not paid yet is $47. And every time somebody has requested a penalty waiver from the city of Portland, it's been issued. So there's a lot of leniency being issued at this point.
Taxpayer Rex Lindeman sees it otherwise. He argues Metro did a lousy job notifying people the tax was due, so all penalties and interest should be waived.
I just think to be equitable, they need to go back and give everybody that money back.
Lindeman adds taxpayers shouldn't have to request a penalty waiver either. The government should just make things right.
If they're waiting for people to ask for the penalty refunded to them, I think that's shameful, I think. It's not fair to the other taxpayers at all.
Both Metro and Multnomah County explain they had a tight timeline to set up and begin collecting the new taxes, which only apply to a small portion of the population. Accountant Cindy Turner argues it's no excuse. Remember, it's the details. Taxpayers should have been alerted before getting nasty letters about unpaid bills.
It just felt wrong. It just felt wrong, and I just don't think that government should operate that way. If government's trying to be transparent and they want us to support their services, they want us to support their taxes, their bonds, all of that, they need to recognize their part in how it impacts us as a taxpayer.
Kyle Boshi joins me now. Kyle, what's the deal with the city collecting this?
Yeah, it seems like an odd arrangement. You've got a Metro tax, a Multnomah County tax, and then the city of Portland collecting. So apparently Metro went to Oregon Department of Revenue and asked, will you collect? State said no. So instead, they turned to the city of Portland, which does have some experience collecting for jurisdictions outside of the city limits. So it's nothing new, really.
And they do the arts tax that everybody loves so much. Just had to get that in there. And why couldn't they just go check last year's returns and just notify everybody who's going to owe?
Right. You'd think that would make perfect sense, right? You go back, see how much people make, then say, hey, in all likelihood, you may have to pay this tax, so just want to give you a heads up. So according to the county, it's a little bit challenging because personal income, their numbers fluctuate from year to year, how much people earn. There is a new data sharing agreement. This is fairly new between the state of Oregon and the city of Portland. The city apparently just got the numbers, and so now they're able to estimate who might have to pay that. As a result of that, that's why we're seeing these letters going out now warning people.
Okay, and what about TurboTax? Will it start to gather this for the future?
Yeah, so both Metro and Multnomah County said they're reaching out to TurboTax, the tax preparation software, and H&R Block. Neither one of them alerted taxpayers. They really hope that'll change, but there's nothing they can do. They can't mandate TurboTax to say, we're going to include this language.
All right, and for people who get these letters and it seems scary and there's charges and fees and penalties, what should they do?
Yeah, so don't ignore it. That interest continues to accrue. At this point, interest is not being waived. Definitely reach out to the city of Portland. Say we'd like to have any penalties waived, but also go to the City of Portland website, because there they'll walk you through the process, both the Metro tax and the Multnomah County tax. If you're liable for both or one or the other, it'll go through the process and you'll be able to file the taxes.
And I know there's a lot of consternation with people saying, I wasn't intending to skip this. It's not like I'm an upper middle class person who doesn't want to pay, but they're saying we just didn't know.
Exactly. And we talked to a lot of people who actually were supportive of these tax measures in the first place. They voted for them, but now are completely surprised because nobody told them how or when to pay. One other thing we should mention to people is tax withholdings. So in January of 2022, companies in Metro and Multnomah County were required to withhold taxes from payroll. The idea is it'll make it simpler to collect, essentially. That didn't happen in the first year, and that was problematic. So the hope is that will change. We don't know, though, how many companies have signed up to do this. Obviously, Metro and Multnomah County hope that companies will, so that the money will start coming in more regularly.
Yeah, interesting stuff. All right, thank you, Kyle, for keeping us updated on that.